100% listener-funded Missionary Radio.
For this episode of Ministry Spotlight TV, I'm featuring the Way Christian Youth Center in Cadiz, Kentucky. The Way is a ministry where youth grades 6 to 12 can find a shelter from the storms of life by experiencing the love of Christ and learning more about God's teachings and plans for their future while enjoying recreation, fellowship, and worship. It was a pleasure to hear what Christ is doing in the lives of these young people in Trigg County, and also getting to meet the sweet volunteers who believe in their future. I sit down with Carl Heckman, a volunteer at The Way, for the first part of the show, and then some of the great volunteers show you around, and much more, here on Ministry Spotlight TV. I'm here at The Way in Cadiz, Kentucky, with Carl Heckman. How you doing?
Brother Andrew, I am doing fine. I am truly blessed.
So let's get right to it. What is The Way?
The Way is a wonderful ministry. It is for middle and high school students who come here each day after school, and they are provided with about anything that they could possibly want while they're here. They get complimentary, everything for the students is free.
Great.
They are allowed to get free meals. They have places to, as you're going to see later, I think as you go through our facilities, you're going to see a game area, you're going to see almost a full-size gym, all sorts of different activities in the gym. We have daily devotions. A lot of the students just like to come after a long day in school to just hang out with their friends.
Decompress?
Decompress, exactly, good word, decompress. So it's...
It beats the alternative of possibly getting into trouble or, doing other things. They can come here and they can hear about the Lord. They can hang out with their friends. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
You're doing great. As a matter of fact, you reminded me of something. You're right. If it wasn't for The Way, we've always believed that there would be more issues in the community, and that belief was sort of substantiated a couple of weeks ago. We had a local law enforcement officer who came by, and we were talking about partnering with them on something in the future. And he was telling me that he had worked in other school systems in this area. And he said when he was the SRO, whatever that is, this police officer that works on campus, he said
school
that...
resource officer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why they pay you the big bucks in Missionary Radio.
What can I say?
Exactly.
So
at any rate, so he says that he had worked in several of those other school systems, and he said almost every day there was some type of physical altercation that he had to break up after school was over. And he said in all the time that he worked as the SRO in Trigg County, which he's not currently doing, but they do have them, he said there's almost never a situation where they have to break up a fight after school. And he said, I attribute this largely to The Way.
Wow, that's a lot to take in all at once. And because of the community being so faithful through the years, The Way has been able to exist. So let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about how The Way was founded. Was it 2011? Am I saying that right? Somewhere in there?
The Lord opened the doors to the first building, which is now where the dollar store is.
Okay.
And in May of 2011, he actually planted the vision in 2010. With some of us, and our belief has always been that The Way is an example of what God will do when Christians work together towards a common cause. And in this case, it's simply sharing the love of Christ in word and deed. And we are nonprofit. Andrew, we are all volunteer. In 14 years, no one has ever taken a penny from this ministry. And we're also multi-denominational. So it's a very unique ministry. It's one that I believe we've always had a dream and a hope that other communities would emulate this, start something similar.
Absolutely.
And we're always ready to help in that endeavor if someone should feel led to do that.
It makes me think when you said not a penny has entered into anybody's pocket, you'll see in this video that many pennies have been given by faithful believers and people of all walks of life to make what you're going to see today. And
absolutely.
It's growing and growing and growing, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. It truly is. And you're absolutely right in what you're saying. We are so blessed in Trigg County. We've got so many generous churches that help us on a monthly basis, both with food and with monetary blessings. And and we have a lot of Christians, who just help us, and we work our tails off, honestly, with fundraisers and
Wouldn't
different
happen
things.
without doing that.
It wouldn't. I mean, so it's all a combination. But again, it's just an example of what God will do if you just put your faith in Him. And my motto for myself personally is I just try to be obedient and stay out of God's way, because every time I try to help Him, it just doesn't work out well.
We trip over ourselves.
I do.
When I know I do. We're all human here, and you're human too. But God can use you, and God has used many humans, just like Carl here and many other volunteers who have come and gone, to make the way what it is. But none of it is possible without Lord Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
And matter of fact, this is really cool. I wanted to set up in front of this. I've interviewed you on Missionary Radio probably 3 times now, and you were actually one of the first interviews I did for Ministry Spotlight. And you told me a cool story about this on an episode. Go ahead and I wanted to set up in front of it.
Just real briefly, again, this is our 3rd location, Brother Andrew. The first couple, 2.5 years or so, were at an old vacant store where the dollar store is now. And then we were very blessed to have my home church, Katie's Baptist, allow us to use their it's an old high school gymnasium, and they let us use that for a couple of years. And then we moved into this new 12,000 square foot facility.
It was built for this purpose.
It's specifically built for a youth center, and as you go through the building, you'll see that.
Yeah.
But
so this came from
saying all that. Yeah. Back to sometimes I chase a lot of rabbits. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But
That's okay.
the story behind this is we had one of our original board members still with us, very blessed, Beverly Underhill, saw this mural somewhere. And she bought it. And when we purchased it, the company that she got it from said that you can only put it up one time. You'll never be able to take it down, take the frames off. It's glued in the back, so you'll never be able to take that and move it somewhere else. Well, It moved with us from the first building to Katie's Baptist, and here it sits, and it's been here on this wall since 2017. March of that year, is when. So we'll have a 14th anniversary coming up pretty soon for the way.
That's great.
So yeah, it's really nice. We
wanted
love
to set
this.
up in front of this because you walk in here. Jesus is the way, the truth,
and the life.
And here He is. As those kids are coming through those doors, no judgment. You're here to love them, to show them a way that they might not have known otherwise.
Exactly.
And you have seen so many people come and go. And I've joked with you, you've seen generations. And that's not even just funny, I've joked around with you. You've been here a while, that's the joke. But you have seen so many generations of kids and teenagers that turn into adults, and some of their kids even come here now, right?
It truly is amazing, and because you said my wife's very young, but I'm very old. So I've been here since, we both moved here in 1978. And I've worked with students pretty much since I was a student. So with the Little River Baptist Association, different churches. I'm seeing literally grandchildren of some of the kids that I carried on a bus ministry or had in Sunday school classes way back in the early 80s.
So are you Brother Carl or Uncle Carl?
Whatever they want to call me, whatever they want to call me. Brother Carl is cool.
The going phrase.
I think most kids do and most adults do, maybe because that's what I refer to other Christians as. that was the way I was raised. When you got to a certain age, the older folks didn't want you to call them Mr. all the time, so it just was natural to say, brother and sister, and we're all brothers and sisters of the same Father.
Body of Christ.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to talk about what, I guess, a normal day looks like when the way is open, what months out of the year, and what someone who's listening, maybe they live in the area and they want to send their kids to the way, what to expect. So hours of operation, what months out of the year are you open, etc.
Okay, as far as on a continual basis, Brother Andrew, we are open during the school year. Now there are things that we do in the summer. We host Camp Katie's Vacation Bible School. There'll be another Vacation Bible School use the facility this summer. Of course, we're using it that's our time to prepare and clean up and get ready for the new school year. But during the year, we are open every Monday. If school is open, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we are always open. We start at 3 when the kids come out of school. They come directly over from the campus, and which is just right across the road.
Y'all can't see it, but it's right out there.
It's just right across the road. We are on 197 Lafayette street directly behind the Tree County School campus.
Great location.
It's a great location, and there is a story behind that if you ever want to hear it. It's God's story, I promise you.
Share it. Do you have time?
It's your dime.
Go for it.
Well, let me first of all answer the rest of your question.
Sure.
Yes, so we are open from 3 either till 5:30 or 6, because we're always looking for other ways to serve Christ, to get new students in, to do other things. And so about 3 weeks ago, we had a gentleman that came and he said, I have a passion for pickleball, and I want to, which is a growing sport in our country, not so much here in Tree County, but he said, I want to come and do that. And the only time we could do that without taking away from basketball, which is probably the most participated sport we have here at the Way, is to stay open another half hour. So we do pickleball on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 o'clock until 6 o'clock. So again, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 o'clock until either 5:30 or 6.
Okay.
And then at the moment, we're actually doing classes on Wednesdays, and we'll probably do those for the rest of the school year. So for the most part, we're open pretty much all year long when the school's open. Back to the God story, real quickly.
Yeah, we love God stories.
I'm telling you, this is a God story.
He's the author of all of our stories. And He is sovereign. He is God.
Absolutely.
Y'all are here because of Him.
And absolutely, without a doubt. And we are unashamedly evangelistic and unashamedly Christian. And the story is this, and it just shows to emphasize that when I try to get in the way, it just gets screwed up. So we were
fun there.
Yeah. So okay, true. So at any rate,
got that.
Whenever we were looking for a permanent home, I was just convinced, without a doubt, we wanted the space right across from the school on the other side, on the Highway 68 side. And I just knew, that's where God wants us. Well, thankfully, God knew better, because we thought we had that property purchased without getting into all the details. At the very last minute, the school believed there was a legal issue. And so they said, we cannot sell that to you. And so as we're going out the door, I say to the superintendent and to the legal advisor, well, what if you can't sell it to us? What if we find something you'd like to exchange for it? And they just kind of looked at me, so I don't understand what you're talking about. Within 48 hours, God blessed us with the ability to purchase the piece of property that the school wanted most. And it was to the east of the school. Back in the 50s, apparently, the school had attempted to purchase all of the property to the east of the school, and they were going to do that through eminent domain. So the neighborhood kind of rose up and said,
big government words there.
not going to do that. Not going to do that. Back in the 50s, not going to do this. Well, there was a lovely woman who had worked she had a heart for missions and a heart for kids. She was in her 90s. She'd already told her family, when I die, do not sell this to the school. Okay. So don't do that. Okay, so she had already told her family, do not sell this to the school when I die. So we went to her, we explained to her the situation, myself and Brother Mark Fry, who is our facilities manager, and we explained this to the lady. And so the bottom line is, through her family, God gave us a special connection there. And we talked with her, and she said, all right, we will sell this to you, knowing that you will not build a youth center here because the property was not conducive for a youth center. But she said, if you will promise that there will be a youth center built because of this sale, I will do it. So she sold that to us. We were able to exchange it to the school for this property, and which was at one time a landfill. And this is the best place because there's more room. We had room to expand, which we can talk about in a moment.
Sure.
And it's very easy for the students to come after school. Behind the school, the traffic is much less. They're not having to cross the main highway. So it's just been a blessing in so many different ways. And again, absolutely was not what I thought God wanted.
Well, Brother Carl, we have so many other things that we're going to focus on for the rest of this video. Just wanted to kind of touch base. You are one of the lead volunteers here. What is your title? What would you call?
I don't know that I have a title. It depends. I like to be referred to as a lead servant, or just a servant.
It's a humble way to say it.
It's a truthful way of saying it. And as far as the IRS is concerned, I think I'm the director or the chairman.
Okay.
But I prefer the lead servant.
All right. Now, Brother Carl, is there anything else you want to say about the way before we transition into more of the tour of the place?
Well, I would like to say real quickly that, again, this is a situation where when God put this vision in the hearts of several of us, we knew that there was a need. There was nothing for students really to do unless it was strictly school connected, which is a lot of students, depending on the year, that don't have that after school. There was a need for that. And then also there was a very great need for a Christian ministry as well. And again, that's our first priority. Everything else that you're going to see and record today, it's nothing more than a method of getting students here so that we can share the love of Christ with them. But at that time, actually, there had been a survey done, and less than 17% of middle and high school students in Tree County were in church on any given Sunday morning. And I would tell you probably 70% had no church affiliation or church influence at all in their lives. So God allowed us to do this, and there were a lot of naysayers that told us this is not going to work. But you know what? We've got the Word of God that shows a lot of things that defy human knowledge.
God's way bigger than naysayers. Oh,
absolutely.
He's bigger than anything.
So 14 years later, I think God knew what He was doing.
Me too. Well, Brother Carl, it's great to sit down with you, and we're going to go ahead and get into it, aren't we?
Hi, I'm Kathy Gibson. I'm at the registration at the Way. Registration is really important time for the kids when they come in. When they come in, we can tell what kind of a day they're having. If they're having a bad day, if they are, we'll let somebody else know that they can get some one-on-one time. It was yesterday. We had 3 students, 2 that accepted Christ, and 1 rededicated their life. That's why we're here. We're here to let them know that Jesus loves them. This is the kitchen. This is where we feed the kids every day. They come through for a snack. We have multiple churches in the county that provide a meal for our kids every day. It could be spaghetti, tacos. There are a few businesses also that participate in this. We have to-go boxes at the end of the day. We have a lot of students that this is their main meal. They'll take home food for the rest of their family, or they'll ask, can I take some food to my grandma or my aunt? And they're never denied food. There's always something good for them to eat.
Good afternoon. My name is Greta Smith. I'm a volunteer for The Way, the Christian Youth Center, and where I'm standing right now is our multi-purpose room, and I mean it is multi-purpose. There's a lot of learning and some fun that goes on in this room. So over here we have a section that we use for our arts and crafts. The kids love arts and crafts, and these are students 6th grade through 12th grade, and both the boys and girls love the arts and crafts. We always have arts and craft items being donated to us, which we appreciate, and we are just blessed. We also have sewing classes sometimes in here. We have our computer lab. We have several lined up. They play games. They play some educational games and also just some fun games for some time after school to kind of get their minds relaxed. It's interesting to come over with them and see how good they are on the computers. Any classes that take place. We have like a 6 weeks class that would be a study on the New Testament, for example, and about 20 kids most of the time that get through that are awarded a trip to go see the Ark Encounter. We also have Wildcats at the Way, we call it, which would be 6 weeks classes on different things. It could be an official sewing class. It could be auto mechanics, which would actually be held outside. We also have singing classes with karaoke, and we have guitar classes. Sometimes in this room we have education on drug abuse that's usually handled by the police department, and then we have suicide awareness and prevention, and then we have classes on grief. So many things are used in this room.
My name is Gigi Moore. I'm a board member here at The Way. I've been helping The Way since we retired from the military and came back in 2019. And we, as my son and I come here most Tuesdays and Fridays to help out and just to divide chaos. So some of the things here in the gym are our seniors on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They do Tai Chi. They do walking around the gym as well in inclement weather. We also have started a new thing for the kids, pickleball. We have it laid out for them. We have a man that comes in and teaches them Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We've gotten a good crowd for that. We also have a lot of outsiders that come in, such as Special Olympics. They practice here and they won their championship in 2023 and they're region champions right now. We also have soccer that comes in and practices in inclement weather. Each day we have a devotion here in the gym. We have lay people such as preachers from different churches or other Christian in our volunteer community that give their testimonies to the kids every day, about a 5 to 10 minute little devotion with them. Another thing that we have here is American Heritage Girls and Trail Life for our boys. This is a scouting program. It's a Christian-based scouting program. They come in on second and fourth Tuesdays and have their meetings here. And they encompass all of the way, so not just the gym, but over in our multi-purpose area. They are taught different things, just like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and they do receive badges for things. I know that they do camp outs. They also help out the way with their pancake sales during our semi-annual yard sales, and they come in and they help us set up for yard sales as well. The Trail Life was also a part of our Ham Festival booth for cleanup, so we are partners with them and we give them a foundation for which they can have their meetings.
Hi, my name is Dawson. I do sound and engineering for the productions and plays that take place here at The Way, including the ones that are directed by Miss Erica Stipe. I like coming to The Way because I have a lot of attachments to the place, particularly. It's where I have found my place, kind of. In retrospect, I've spent too long at this building for it not to mean something to me. It's where I found God. It's where I found friends. It's where I found work. It's meant a lot to me over the past season of my life. During Camp Cadiz, which we have here, if you're a local, we host VBS at this building, and that's how we've had people like me come closer to God. The building means a lot to me because of what it represents. The computer lab is where I spend most of my time. I also enjoy spending my time with Chess Club here, which is actually currently happening. Whenever I spend time at the building, I always discover something new or do something new or find another thing to do, because there's a lot of doors that open when you kind of work towards things.
Hey, I'm Mark Fry, and here we are at The Way at our new building. This is our Education Annex, and it's under construction. We're getting excited about it getting done later this year and getting ready to use it next school year, and we're going to go in and see what we got going on in here. But we got some folks working, but in here we are going to have a large room where we can gather and show movies, have seminars, have classes, teach God's Word, and community events can be done in here. And it is coming along. I hadn't been in here in a few days, and this drywall and stuff, these guys are going to have this thing done before you know it. Over on this side, we are going to have an activities room, and in here the ladies have lots of plans. We're going to offer sewing classes, we're going to offer some music classes, some arts and crafts classes. We've been trying to do all those things in our other building while we have all the students there, and I know the ladies are getting excited about having a space where they can come over here, get away from the crowd, and do these classes without all the distractions. So that's what this room's going to be for. Coming down the hall, we've got some other things that'll be going on down here. Again, we're super excited about this building, the things that God's going to be able to do in here as we have been blessed in this ministry here at the Way. We're going to have a library. This room here is going to be a library where folks can come, and we'll have books that are available to really anyone in the community, but we're especially going to make them available to our students that come. We're going to have places in here where you can come in and study. Even some tutoring going to take place in this building. We also want to have a resource building or resources in here where different youth leaders, folks in the community can come, and there'll be resources available to them that they could check out, use for a while, bring back, just like a library. We have been planning pretty hard on this room back here in the corner. We're gonna have a prayer room. The ladies are talking about how they're gonna fix this up, decorate it, and make it where it's conducive to have a place to come in here where 2 or 3 folks can come gather, they can pray, somebody can come in here and just spend some time with the Lord. But that's what this room is going to be. And here we are in the barn, and that is what we call it, the barn, which is literally an old tobacco barn. It's been here since the 80s. This property belonged to the school, and the ag department used to raise tobacco. That was part of their fundraising every year, and we hung tobacco in here. We were able to acquire this property that had the barn on it from the school and repurpose it. As you can tell by looking, we have remodeled, and we've got a lot going on in here in a small space. So as you come in here, some rooms over that way, we've got storage for something we're going to hear about later, but our American Heritage girls and our Trail Life boys. We've got a clothes closet over here that Brother Carl is going to talk to you in a little while. We got some much needed storage space back here, something we didn't have in our original building, that allows us to keep our junk out of sight, if you will. But we have this back here that we made this where we had a place to put all of our things. We have the entire upstairs of this building for more storage, and it just allows us to have a place where the ladies that do the clothes closet have things here stashed away. We have prizes and things that we give to the students stashed away over there. And then we have our things that we might need next season or the season after that upstairs that we're able to put away up there. So a couple of years ago, we got this barn finished, where as you see, we converted it. It was, if you know what a tobacco barn looks like, it was wide open and was remodeled into what you see today.
It has been a real blessing because we have about 15 to 20 students who come here over the course of the week. The clothes closet is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and when they're here in the barn getting their clothes, they actually have their daily devotions here in this building for those students. So they've been able to build relationships with the students, and also they've had one young lady that came to Christ last fall. But the students are able to come again once a week, and they were able to get up to 5 items of clothing, shoes, also toiletries, pretty much anything a teen would need, whether it's for proms or just for wearing to school, and it's been a real blessing. And again, everything for the students is absolutely free, and the generosity of Trigg County is amazing with the amount of clothes that we have been given.
I'm Martha Davis, and my role at the Way is as a volunteer and as a board member, and this place is run by volunteers. We have no paid employees. Listen to that. No paid employees, and we serve at least 70 to 80 kiddos every Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. I've been volunteering ever since this place opened, so I can tell you there are needs for people that will, like kids, like to get out there amongst them. These kids, in many instances, may have or may not have regular families. And so it's important that we get to know them. And so that could be the kind of volunteer that just comes and visits. There can be volunteers that work in the kitchen. I've done that. You can do anything you want to for any length of time you want to. You can choose the amount you want to volunteer. And honestly, anything that you enjoy doing, there's probably a need for. As I know, we have arts and crafts. I did arts and crafts with the kids for years and years, and I'm an old retired educator. And I didn't know anything about arts and crafts, but you know what? If you can read and use your phone, you can get on Pinterest, and you can learn how to do arts and crafts. You can. These kids like to do anything where you're using your hands. They really like to use their hands. You can be a monitor that watches the computers because they might want to get onto something they're not supposed to get on, and so we have to have people to monitor and be there. Or they may decide that they want to scream and holler. Well, we need somebody there to say, okay, calm down, we don't need to scream and holler. We have a need for people that like to vacuum. And we clean up. We always restock the bathrooms and paper and anything that you would almost do in a regular home, you can do here. The kids like activity. We have a gym, and oh my goodness, if you like to be around kids and activity, we had a volunteer that came in and helped play, got out on the floor and played basketball with the guys. To be a volunteer, you need to be a Christian associated with the church. And there is a form for you to fill out. And on that form, it gives you all the information about being a volunteer. You can pick up one of those here at the Way.
100% listener-funded Missionary Radio.